Joining us right now, Matthew Pillsbury. He is a 911 dispatcher in Troy. We've got him on the air for another reason we'll explain in a minute. But, Matthew, before we get to that, how's it been going in your 911 center in Troy?
On my shift, we've had a lower call volume. I can't speak for the other shifts. I work the midnight side, but I believe people are staying home and keeping to the regulations. We're not seeing a spike in calls, and it seems to be not a lot of people on the road when I go to work, and it's down definitely with us as well.
Well, that's really good news. The reason we do have you on the line today is you're a pilot. You're a member of the Troy-Oakland Pilots Club, which I also happen to be a member of. And I understand that via a fine gentleman by the name of Cran Jones, a bunch of pilots from our area in Oakland County took off late last week, I think on Friday, flew down to Indiana to get some medical supplies. Tell us the story, if you would.
Yeah, that's correct. So, Cran and I have a mutual friend, Nick, who was my initial flight instructor, and Cran has some ties to the auto industry, and he was, everything was coming out about all the pandemic things, and it was getting worse, and Cran didn't want to sit idle, so he called, he's associated with an auto plant in Muncie, Indiana that makes auto parts, and he called his people down there and said, I want to do something. I want to do something to help. I don't know what, but what can we do? And so one of his engineers was off, and he went to his shop in his house and developed a prototype face shield and sent a picture to Cran, and Cran said, I want however many you can make, and when can we get them? And so they went to work, and they retooled their plant and ordered supplies, and the first shipment was 250 masks. One pilot flew down, and one group of pilots flew down in a single airplane to pick those up a couple weeks ago. And they were such a hit with the local hospitals around here in Metro Detroit that they kept building more and more masks and face shields. And we had enough to pick up 12,000 face shields on Friday with between 4 airplanes.
Isn't that amazing? I mean, just a couple of guys getting together with a friend who manufactures in Indiana and some local pilots able to transport those shields up here almost immediately, and you get some citizens all working together along with that manufacturer and 12,000 face shields helping to protect our health professionals on the front line. I can't think of a more beautiful story right in the middle of all this. That had to really feel good to be a part of that, especially given the fact that you work in the Troy 911 Center and you're with first responders every day who will be helped by this.
Yep, absolutely. I got the call from Nick, and he said, hey, can you call me on Wednesday and said, Friday, we're going to Indiana. Can you get an airplane and help us out? And I said, I certainly can. And I checked the schedule at our club, and there was obviously a plane available. And so I flew over to Pontiac, and we all grouped together and flew down as a flight of 4. And I think it was a total round trip of about 4 hours by the time we loaded up and took off from Pontiac, loaded everything up, and dropped them off at Willow Run. So what would have taken a day and a half to 2 days to get those supplies up here, we got up here in under 5 hours.
Every day counts. Matt, thank you very much. I got to run along. We've got the governor's press conference coming up in a minute. We want to get to that. Matt Pillsbury, Troy-Oakland Pilots, a member, one of my friends and brothers in the flying club. I'm a pilot as well, so I know how this all works, and very, very cool what you guys did. And count me in for the next flight. I'll join you guys with my plane, and we'll go down, and whenever we need to go pick something up, I'm there. I'm in. All right?
That sounds great. Thanks a lot, Dave.
Matt, thank you very much. There you go. So another great story right here in our area.